That's the third head of cattle this week. Guess it's time to call out to Elendel and get some professionals in here to handle this. Last time on Lost Legends of Scadrial.
Anyway, there's a reason that I called you over here. We're about to have an election, and I think that the other party, they're up to no good.
We could potentially pretend to be their campaign managers.
What if you convinced Tavis to try and bribe Drone?
What in the world were you thinking? That was a disaster. It nearly could have gone right off the edge if I hadn't been so circumspect about what I was saying.
Well, through the course of this campaign, we've found out that Cogsby might, in fact, be embezzling money from the mob, which is a terrible idea if you ask me. So if I were to, say, hand off this information, would I be guaranteed that you'd be able to get it in the right hands? You don't have to give me any kind of finder's fee or anything like that. I just think it's pertinent to get it all out in the air.
So you've got like dual headlines competing for each other of embezzlement from the engineering guild coming from the Cogsby leadership, and then also all of the detailing of the dirty politics. When the Elections Are Us comes out with the results of the election, it is Tot Bowler who is the new head of the Guild of Engineering.
Shocking.
Well, it appears that my services have been complete, and I didn't even have to pull off that nasty little job. I believe you mentioned a potential hiring for yourself?
If you'd be amenable.
I believe I would, Miss Wilde. I believe I would.
Hello, and welcome back to the Lost Legends of Scadrial Mistborn Adventure Game Podcast. I'm your host and narrator, Trevor, and with me we have the rest of the Lost Legends.
I'm Lena, I play Beladora Wilde.
I'm Zach, and I play Finnigan Bomon.
I'm John. I go by Clover My Online, and I play Claudius Logan.
Let's jump back in. So first off, we're going to start with me once again berating myself for being terrible about character advancement in general. I thought I was going to be better this season, but I'm not. I'm just bad in other ways. So let's give out some advancements for the last two story arcs. Finn and Bella, you will both receive 8 advancements for the Fire in the Blood, Ash in the Air storyline, and for the Game of Guildmaster storyline. And then Clytus, you're going to receive 4 advancements for the Game of Guildmaster storyline. Finn and Bella, I'm going to let both of you spend 2 long rests worth of advancements, since you've had 2 long rests since the last time I've given out advancements. And then Clytus, you have the opportunity for 1.
Can I save advancements?
You can, but you can only have a maximum of 20 advancements.
Okay.
And then, for instance, like the gain a hemorrhagic spike one, gonna have to need a really good story reason for that to happen, and honestly, I'm not sure if it's possible for that to happen in this far out from the Catasandra, unless, like, we get some really weird stuff.
We could always make a hemorrhagic spike.
Yeah, but then you'd have to get the knowledge of how to do so, and I mean, if we can find a way to get there, maybe, but I don't know if that's in the works for this group or not.
Yeah, I was joking, man.
Well, I'm saving it for snapping into a misting.
Oh yeah, you're saving up to be
because I wanted him also to be a pewter arm.
Yeah. So you don't have to increase anything if you want to. You can keep saving because it's gonna be a while.
Cool.
You're not going to be like Lord Falcone where you're hanging out at 20, refusing to spend any of them, and then still getting advancements hand over fist because I'm terrible at this. This group, I'm going to be stingy.
I know exactly what I'm going to do with my advancements. I am increasing my power rating by 1 so that my Allomancy rating is now going to be 6 instead of 5.
Excellent. Good choice. And Clytus, unfortunately, that doesn't give you a lot to work with, but you could still gain a new stunt or a new trait if that's something you're interested in.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to look at right now. I didn't have time earlier to look at them.
Let me check in the book that I don't have in PDF to see if maybe there's a cool Koloss stunt or something.
Is there any way to get stuff from like Alloy or because I think we've only got the original book.
Oh yeah, the clipping that I made is from the first book, and they've added like specific gunplay stunts or gunsmithing stunts, and like the Masks of the Past book has homeland stunts. For instance, in the game that's going to air between the first and second season that we just recorded, the make do, or the one that I gave John's character, where you don't make the best of it, where you don't get lose any dice to adverse conditions. That's a Ruff's homeland stunt. I'm seeing Scrounger. That might be. Well, would you consider Clytus to have come from the Ruffs, John?
Yes.
Okay, so this is one that might work for you. There's Hard Bitten. You get 2 health increased by 2. Your health increases by 2, and you get 1 additional physique die for challenges to resist adverse weather conditions or to survive in the wild.
Ooh, that's not bad.
There's an animal handling one called Wrangler. There's one called Scrounger, where you can turn any old junk you find into useful gear.
Wait, what's Wrangler? My cowboy senses are tingling.
You're trained in taming and caring for animals in the harsh conditions of the roughs. When you're riding a horse or other animal, you don't take an adverse condition from the motion of that animal. You get an additional die on checks for calming or controlling animals. Lastly, you own a stable of animals, and during a breather, you can bring out enough horses to carry you, the rest of your crew, and up to 1 companion.
That's it. We haven't even introduced Cappuccino yet.
Well, he's going to get introduced in this episode, that's for sure.
So Wrangler's it. I mean, come on, Clytus grew up on a ranch. Like, yeah, Wrangler is it.
Okay, perfect. So I think that wraps it up for everybody then, doesn't it?
Is there anything for like growing up in the city possibly?
Stunts, you mean?
Stunts or traits? Either.
Yeah, traits are short phrases. They're things that you created when you were creating your character. So, like the close quarters combat, the dock worker, sailor, those were your traits. And then you can add a new trait, which could be, just 2 to 3 word phrase that describes a special skill set or something that is prominent about your character that could be used to influence roles.
Is there anything for, growing up in a city or someone who's familiar with cities?
This one might be good for you. Face in the crowd. You can blend in with crowds in the city. Any roll for an attempt to locate you in a crowd of other city dwellers or follow you within a city fails unless the hunter spends a nudge.
And how much will that be?
To gain a new stunt is 4 advancements.
Okay, I'll take it. I really like that.
Well, I think we are ready to jump back in. This week we are starting on the Hamlet of Hammond. So, following the events of the Game of Guildmasters, pretty much every single person associated with Wentworth's campaign has kind of been blacklisted through the city of Elendel. Following those events, nobody wants to be associated with people who were part of a campaign that was 1, paying money to the mob, 2, trying to bribe Elections R Us, a beloved institution throughout the city, and 3, everybody always kind of thought that Wentworth was a little bit of a prick anyways. And so, 3 strikes, you're out. It's been a couple of weeks. Everybody's been trying to find work with no luck. A lot of the money that has been saved up to carry you guys over has already been spent. And it's just been really frustrating. So when Clytus came forward, having found what looked like a pretty easy job out in the roughs, the group pretty much decided, we need the money. We're not going to get money here. This looks like it'll be easy pickings. Let's just go do this. And so, John, why don't you go ahead and describe Cappuccino?
Oh, sure. Cappuccino is, I would say, I mean, I don't know much about horses, but, I would say he is middle-aged for a horse, just like Clytus is middle-aged for a Kolos-blooded. He is, cappuccino brown with kind of like these lighter brown splotches, throughout his back. And
Does he have like the picture on it, like a coffee, like a cup of coffee would when you put the cream in?
I'm not sure what you mean by a picture on it.
Ooh, he's got like a white swirl on the front of his head that looks like one of the metal symbols, maybe.
No, I don't want anything that actually looks like a symbol. They're just like large splotches, like hand size or larger. He's just kind of a mottled brown.
Not even like the little cream leaf?
No. So nothing like that clear. It's just kind of, he's like maybe a chestnut brown with slightly lighter splotches, like almost like he's getting older and, getting like white hairs, but only in specific spots kind of a deal. But still very solid and healthy, and I don't know enough about breeds, so I couldn't describe anything like that.
And horse was one of your props, so you can go ahead and add another prop since that's now covered by your stunt.
Oh, cool. Can I think about that and maybe even bring it up next session?
Yeah, that's fine. Bella or Finn, do you guys want to describe the horse that you are taking from Clytus' stable?
Finnigan would probably be riding a pony, to be completely honest.
I think that Finn rides a really fat, short, stout pony.
You gonna name him or should I?
And his name is Stallion.
Stallion the pony.
A pony named Stallion.
Well, that does kind of sound like something Clytus would do. Come on, Git. You're gonna grow up and be a strong pony, none of these sissy ponies. Just don't go too hard on him. He is, unfortunately, not quite living up to his name.
I mean, I could lessen my weight by...
Well, you can't change weight too much since you're pewter-faring. Bella, did you want to describe your horse at all, or does Bella just pick a horse and go with it?
I think she's got a sleek white mare.
And I kind of imagine that, like, she's going specifically for, like, how the horse looks. And so
absolutely.
Maybe the mane on this horse, like, has a crazy hairstyle that just looks extra dashing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. She takes time to curl the mare's mane every morning.
Perfect. Did you name your mare?
I think her name is...
Her name is my cat. Her name is my cat.
Oh my god, my cat. I think her name is... Oh my god, she needs to stop. Her name is my cat. I can't... Look, I don't make the rules. I just follow them.
You want to name it Princess after your cat? I could see Clytus naming his horse, one of his horses, Princess.
You know what? I was going to say her name is Petunia, but I like that. Her name is Princess now.
Now, you be careful with Princess. She may not look it, but she's got a bit of an attitude. Perhaps a good match in that regard.
I would say so.
So Princess, Stallion, and Cappuccino. Do they tell me where this town is? I don't think they do. So the Hammond's Hamlet is a good couple of days' ride, at the very least, if you're traveling hard from Elendel. When you show up, you're kind of ready to get off the road. It's been just long enough that the novelty of being out in the wilderness with the wind in your hair riding on this horse has really worn off. You're starting to get saddle sores. Your legs are very sore from trying to hold yourself up the whole time while riding. And everybody's kind of starting to get a little snappish with each other because going from the city where you weren't able to live and necessarily opulent lifestyle because of the lack of funds, then going straight onto the road and even more stringent conditions there. So everybody was ready to see this town, and it looks pretty idyllic and bustling. The people seem happy. There doesn't seem to be a lot of animosity or tension between any of the townsfolk. There are two notable locations inside of it, or there's a couple of them. There's a general store, a library, there is the Pewter Arm Inn, and then most of the rest of the town consists of small houses, a couple of larger ranches, and it's the ranches are the reason that you've been brought out here, because they put out a notice for some bounty hunter or other roughsmen to come out and deal with what is just being described as a beast harassing the town and its livestock.
Who's our contact here?
You have the name of Mayor Mal Hammond.
A real quick interjection. I found what my new prop I want to be.
Sure.
A leather duster.
We need to roast it first a little bit.
I was gonna say, I feel like as a bonding ritual, we should have Clytus like join in and roast it a little bit. Like, all right, I can get in with this.
I don't know if that works though. He has to run through a burning building with it.
Now hold on. I'm a little too old for those kind of shenanigans. I say we throw it on the campfire and say I ran through a burning building.
So, like, put it on a spit and just turn it over the fire while it's slowly roasting?
Maybe you came across, like, this old ramshackle, rundown, abandoned shack and set that on fire?
Nope.
No, okay. You roasted it on a fire.
I have been what one might call a less than honest person in my life, and I am perfectly fine making up some bull-honky story about running through a burning building. I will roast the dang thing. That's good enough.
So the three of you are in the middle of town. I imagine you've gotten off of your horses and you're leading them into town a little bit further. What would you like to do?
Is there like a sheriff in town or something that I could use my connections to the Ellendale Constabulary to talk to? Would that help at all?
Well, the thing about being networked with the Ellendale Constabulary is that you have to be in Ellendale to talk to them. There would be some lawmen that would kind of roam through the area, but being as this is a more it's a more old town, a little bit closer to Ellendale itself. It's dating back to almost not too long after the Catasandra itself is when the town was built, which is why it has such a big library. The library itself contains a number of books that were first-hand accounts of some of the survivors of the Catasandra and then the first inhabitants of the town as they started to build and grow and develop it. And so with it being kind of bustling, it gets a little bit of tourism from the library. They hold some scholarly conferences there. It doesn't have as much need for lawmen as other towns might, where it's a little bit further from known civilization and a little less well-known, and the economy isn't as good.
Can I roll spirit to see if I've had a contract come through here at some point?
Sure.
Can I get a +1 for my bounty hunter, or was that just for the roll?
No, I'm going to say that you needed that in order to actually perform the role.
Sure. Roll my 2. Nope, just a 3 and a nudge. Nothing.
Yeah, this kind of town, it's not exactly the kind of place where your escapades would take you normally. Like I said, it's a lot cleaner living than a lot of the places in the roughs. There's not a lot of reason to have somebody, and the fact that the only contract you've been able to get up to this point is to take care of some sort of beast or something that's been attacking the town speaks to the nature of the town itself.
Well, I say perhaps we go talk to this Mr. Mayor and get more details on the job.
I say we go to the only inn in town and have a bath.
Tempting, but I think business, pride, pleasure, it's my priority.
Finnigan will kind of lift his arm up and...
I'm just saying, y'all have smelled better.
And I have also smelled much, much worse.
You don't want to make a good impression or anything?
How about we flip a boxing? Clytus pulls out a boxing and flips it. Heads or tails, Beladora?
Tails.
It was tails.
Yes, yes.
All right, Beladora. It looks like luck is on your side tonight.
I'm not grabbing the bags, though.
Princess has about 5 or 6, like, almost trunk-like pieces of luggage, I imagine, carrying all of Bella's dresses.
Well then, Gladys, looks like you're up.
All right.
Clytus, give me a physique roll.
Is there a minus dice thing? Should I take something for deceptively lackadaisical? Or would that actually work in my favor?
I don't think it would be an adverse condition, but I also don't think that would help. But you do get your Kolos bonus.
Yep. It's like a stealth amount to my physique.
Yeah, I don't think you're necessarily trying to hide, like...
It's 4... Oh, no, I meant, like, it's my physique says 5, but it's like, oh, well, actually, I roll 7.
Yeah.
I guess they just didn't want to add it to the health is what it comes down to. But I got 4s and a nudge.
So, yeah, you, pretty... At first, like, one of the luggage, the pieces of luggage is so well secured that you missed a rope, and so you kind of drag Princess behind you a little bit before you notice. But you're able to do the grocery challenge and get them all in one trip.
Nice.
But I'm gonna say that Clytus does it in the most lazy-looking way possible. Like, he's, like, dragging them.
Okay. Yeah, so you spend some time, like, meticulously arranging them one on top of another, and then, like, grab it from the bottom, and you're just kind of dragging it through the dirt and, like, bang it up the stairs.
Exactly. Pardon my dust. Or noise. Whatever.
You guys walk inside of the Pewter Arm Inn. It's pretty early in the day. There's not a lot of people inside of here. You can tell that, based on the number of people outside, that even if they have a pretty regular local customer base, that they also do rely on some of the tourism brought in by the library, and that just isn't happening at the moment. It's looking pretty empty. You can see a display of keys on the wall behind the bar, and most of those keys are still there. It's actually only one of them that are missing. There's a man behind the bar who's doing the typical bartender, polishing a glass that's already clean. And then in another corner of the bar, you see a woman with a stack of books around her.
I'd like to go up to the bartender, and I'm going to ask him, so how did you get the name? How did this inn get the name Pewter Arm Inn?
Well, the first guy who started this inn, he happened to be a pewter arm. In fact, and he points to a big tree trunk that has been, it's obviously old, but it doesn't even look like they had, like, stripped the bark or anything. That makes one of the main cross beams that's holding up the second floor. They say that he was able to mount that cross beam up there without any other help.
And real quick, I want to, after having deposited the trunks, like, while Finn is talking to him, do, like, stealth up suddenly behind the bartender's line of sight so that I'm just suddenly there when he finishes pointing.
Okay. I think that would be rather difficult to do because he's behind a bar, and he's, it's not going to be facing away from the center of the room where this crossbeam would be. So unless you're, like, going behind the bar just to scare him.
Oh, I'm not even going behind the bar. I just want to, like, just suddenly be... I'm making this a trademark for my character, is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
When I'm meeting someone for new, I have to sneak up and then just be creepily just right there.
He as he turns, he kind of jumps a bit, and his hand, like, goes up to his heart, and he lets out a long breath. I don't know what's wrong with you, but... that's a good way to get shot out here. I mean, not in this town, but I don't know how far in the roughs you're used to going. People have been shot for less.
Finn'll be a little bit surprised by Clytus there, too, and kind of just jump a little bit.
Clytus just predatory smile. It's okay. I've been shot at before.
Shocker.
You three, especially with that statement, don't seem to be quite the academic types, so can I ask what's bringing you to our fine town here?
we heard information about a beast, and we're here to help solve your town's problem.
Oh, you're here about the horse bear.
A horse bear?
Horse bear?
I don't think that's a thing.
He kind of leans forward on the counter. Even though there's not many other people in the bar, he kind of hushes his voice a little bit. There's an old urban legend around here about the horse bear of Hammond. It's been rumored for as long as I can remember. We have many accounts of it going pretty far back in the town's history. And recently, those rumors have started to get a little more life in it with all of the cattle being slaughtered and other such.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hammond's Hamlet?
Oh, well, that's just what the town is named after, and there's a local tradition of electing a family that's taken the surname Hammond for their own, of always electing them mayor. We don't have the mayor do much work around here. It's a pretty relaxed town, but it's just one of those things.
That's quite a system of government you have here.
Huh.
A little bit strange to...
That kind of sounded a little judgmental there. Well, I don't come into your town and make fun of your traditions and your customs.
I mean...
Too true.
I mean, don't you have any kind of elections or anything like that?
Well, we have proper elections. They just always win.
That doesn't sound like a good basis for a system of government. I'm sorry.
I meant no harm, my good sir. Please pardon my rudeness.
So, are you just here as some sort of gore sightseeing trip, or, what about the beast, the horse bear, brings you into our town?
I'm here for a bath, mostly.
Well, that's easy enough to arrange. It'll be a couple of boxings if you're not getting a room, but if you're getting a room, I'll throw it in for free.
I feel like we're gonna be here for a bit, so sign me up for a room.
Okay, go ahead and I won't even make you roll for it. It seems kind of silly to make you roll for just getting a room, so go ahead and just subtract one resource.
Okay.
Finn, you want to get a gentleman's room? Leave Beladora her space?
That sounds like a good idea.
You'll have more foot room without them trunks. Alright, I've got a -1 on my resources, so I'll spend mine.
So wait, if we haven't gotten the rooms yet, where did Clytus put the bags?
Whoops.
You just, I imagine you just dragged them upstairs and just threw them in a room.
I will say that I just left them laying out in the hall outside of what looked like an empty room. It had a nice color. I assumed Miss Beladora would prefer that one.
But that's still... I still think just having the same family rule is just not a good system, but okay.
Those sound like fighting words, Finn.
Well, there's also the proud tradition of the family. I mean, with the amount of experience that family has in administrating this town, who else in town would know the needs better than the family that's run it for 300 years? Y'all are awful. Come in making fun of everybody's names, their towns, their traditions. I can't take you anywhere.
Did we make fun of anyone's names this time?
It's coming. I know it is. I don't know when.
Oh, that wasn't the bartender speaking.
That was a frustrated narrator. This one, it's going to be because a character is named Belle, and we've got a Bella.
Oh, okay.
And we're here to find a beast. So, this is based on Beauty and the Beast.
Boy, would that be awkward. I sure hope not. Let's just see where it goes. That horse bear of Hammond is just irresistible.
Tale as old as time.
No, we're going to get sued.
You can be Gaston.
You've been dreaming just
not a Disney.
dream,
Anything but Disney.
nearly all your life.
Anything but Disney.
It wasn't long enough to infringe on copyright.
So, Bella, you get shown to your room. He has one of the boys that works for him start carting up buckets of hot water. Or do they have plumbing yet? I don't remember.
In this time period, I think they would. I mean, it's modeled off the Old West.
I'm guessing with your description of the town, probably not this one.
Well, this would be one of the older, more established towns, so if plumbing became a thing...
Oh, right. I forgot we're in Alloy of Law, not Catasandra. Yeah, they probably have plumbing.
Okay, well, they draw you a bath, and they give you a nice selection of coarse but serviceable soaps, and then allow you to freshen up a bit. Clytus and Finnigan, do you bother taking a bath?
I do so.
What's going on with the book lady? Clytus is going to kind of like surreptitiously eye her and see if he spots anything.
Give me a wits roll. I'll give you +1 for bounty hunter since you're used to looking for those kind of details.
Clytus is going to eye the lady with the books and see if he spots anything suspicious.
Will I be able to help him with that at all?
That depends on if he would clue you into what he's doing or not.
Nope. He's being sly. Alright, I got a pair of 1s, but I got 4 nudges.
With 4 nudges, all of the books look very mundane, but you do notice that she's got kind of a furtive expression. Like, every once in a while, she'll glance over at Finn and at you when she thinks you're not looking, like she's suspicious of you.
So she has a brain, basically.
John, why don't you make a note on your character sheet that you have +1 going forward on any rolls investigating this woman? Because you kind of, you sensing her unease, now you know how, just kind of the way to throw her off balance a little bit, we'll say.
I'm going to call her Bookworm in my secrets known spot.
You can call her Belle. That's Belle.
I feel like we would have found her in the library first, but...
Alright, so now I'm going to clue in Finn. Lena, did Beladora go up for a bath, or are you still hanging around?
Yeah, she went immediately, as soon as she was able.
Alright, so Clytus is going to kind of, try to catch Finn's eye, and then do, a subtle head nod towards Belle. And then he's immediately going to shift into predatory smile, and then this time not sneaking, just very obviously saunter slowly over. Well, hello, miss. That is quite the stack of books.
Finnegan's going to grab a drink before joining Clytus.
As you come over, Clytus, and you start to talk, she immediately snaps the book that's right in front of her shut, and she looks up to you, and she gets kind of a pinched, angry expression on her face. It is, and generally speaking, when one has a stack of books in front of them, one likes to read them.
So the smile grows larger. My, how aggressive.
Is there a point to your intrusion?
I'm not sure quite just yet. I do have to apologize for my horrendous manners. I do have a tendency to, we'll say, push on pain points, and I have a tendency to annoy on first meeting, but my name is Clytus. I'm here about the horse bear, and I couldn't help but notice a couple glances you were sending our way, so seeing your stack of books, I'm wondering if perhaps maybe you're one of the more learned types, could give us some information about this local legend.
You actually notice that as soon as you say the words horse bear, that the annoyed, pinched look on her face immediately drops, and you get a little bit of a glimmer of excitement in her eyes. Well, that is something else entirely then. I am actually here to study some of the local legends, and I think that I actually witnessed an attack from the horse bear not too long ago. You see, it's actually quite fascinating. The first mentions of the horse bear date back almost to immediately following the Catasandra. Now, a lot of scholars think that the horse bear originally was just a mist wraith, and because custom hadn't died out by that point, even despite the influence of the... I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I get excited about these sorts of things. Please, Clytus, you said your name was.
No, that's fine. So, it sounds like you're saying it might have actually been a horse bear. And Clytus looks up to the bartender. Bartender, my apologies. Perhaps it really is a horse bear of sorts.
And at that point, Finnegan's going to come with his drink and sit down right at her table.
And as soon as Finn does that, Clytus does as well. But my apologies for interrupting again. Yes, my name is Clytus. This is my esteemed associate, Mr. Finnigan Bomon. Please, do continue.
My name is Bel Saray, and as I said, I've come here to first of all to visit the library. I don't think any esteemed academia would come to this town without having to check the library, but yeah, I've always been fascinated with some of the stories of, the faceless immortals and the Koloss, and I've been wondering if maybe this horse bear was of the same mix. And when I saw what had happened and witnessed this terrible beast ripping livestock to shreds, I've just become obsessed, and I haven't been able to leave the town since.
So you've seen the beast, then?
I have.
Can you describe it?
Well, unfortunately, it was very dark at the time. I had gone out to visit one of the ranches that had recently been hit just to stake it out. It had been probably the fifth night and the fifth different location I had gone to. And by the time the creature emerged, it was only by moonlight that I saw it. But it was this massive creature that had claws and fangs, and the mess that it left was just incredible.
Interesting.
You didn't see which way it came from, did you?
It seemed to be coming from out of town.
You didn't happen to see which way the beast came from, did you?
If we were to go to the ranch, I could point the direction that it went, but I'm afraid that I'm, generally speaking, a little spatially challenged.
Unfortunate, but I understand. I have my own, shall we say, inadequacies.
Well, maybe you would have seen a little bit more if you weren't so focused on reading.
She gives you a rather pointed look.
And Clytus also gives Finn a very dry, really?
Bella, who is probably the only person who has studied, etiquette, wonders why she is internally screaming all of a sudden. Just overcome with the urge to scream while she's sitting in the relaxing bath.
It's like the inverse of the sneeze.
Well, I just think that there are some people who are better suited for tasks like that, and some people who are better suited for tasks that I prefer to do, and that we shouldn't convince ourselves that we need to be good at everything.
I'm just saying.
You're just saying that by spending so much time with my books, I'm allowing other opportunities to pass me by.
Yes, that is exactly right. That sums it up quite nicely, thank you.
Well, that's perfectly fine, miss. What did you say your name was again?
Bel Saray. I think
Bell.
I think I might have a good idea where it was hiding. I rode out the next day to try and see if I could follow it, but there seemed to be something in the distance that looked like it could be a cave or some sort of strange copse of woods. I didn't want to get too far because obviously I wouldn't be able to find my way back due to my earlier inclinations, but being a concerned citizen of Hamlet, well, not at least temporary citizen, I've been considering moving here permanently. I honestly, I just wanted to see it, but when I got close enough, I was too scared to get any closer.
Of course.
Oh, so you're really not much help at all then, are you?
She gives you another look.
Well, I would say that we're the kind that specialize in security. seems you're the kind that specialize in, shall we say, brain stuff. Perhaps we might be able to assist each other.
I think that sounds like a fantastic idea.
We still need to check in with the mayor. Are you staying here, or where might we contact you once we've gotten our official job details?
I do have a room here, and if you don't find me at my normal table, and she gestures down at the table in front of her, then more than likely you'll find me in the library. Otherwise, I will continue my stakeouts at night around some of the various ranches where the animals that seem to be its preferred prey seem to, not where they seem to, but where they're being raised by the town.
Very helpful. Thank you, Miss Saray.
You're welcome, Mr. Clytus. It's been something.
Yep, I believe that is an adequate descriptor.
It usually is something whenever we're around.
And Clytus tips his hat and I want to get a drink. He's going to go get a drink and head up to his room.
Okay, are you or Finnigan, either of you taking a bath?
Clytus is going to pretend to take a bath.
That's specifically why I'm asking, because especially with this last conversation, I don't know how much Finn cares about offending people's sensibilities.
He cares about offending Bella's sensibilities. And yeah,
mostly because he'll never hear the end of it.
For that alone, he will take a bath. Otherwise, he's stuck with Bella. Everyone else can just shove off.
Okay, so same with you. You were given a tub and some coarse but very serviceable soap that you're able to clean yourself up with.
My, what coarse but serviceable soap? What's it smell like?
Smells like something.
Smells like something. Okay.
Clytus will just take a very brief bath of the leftover water from Finn.
Ew.
He took a quote-unquote bath.
I almost feel like he just dunks his hat in the water, wrings it out, and puts it back on.
No, he wouldn't sully his hat with such filth.
Oh, no, not the hat. The hat is sacred. Nah. Takes off the clothes, gets in the water, gives the barest minimum of scrubs, and okay, I've done the hygiene.
So after your baths and your quarter baths, you meet together back downstairs.
Well, Clytus, you tried. Kind of.
Thank you.
I'll have you know I did try. I cleaned my toes and everything.
Well, thank you.
When you came back downstairs, you've noticed that Belle is gone from her table, but the vast majority of the books are still there.
All right, Clytus is going to take a look.
Go ahead and give me another wits roll. Add 1 for the one going forward, but you're not going to get Bounty Hunter because you don't have the person here to study anymore.
Sure. 4s and a nudge.
As you're looking through the titles this time, you're noticing that they're still very mundane, but it's almost as if they're too mundane. None of them seem to have any connection to the horse bear, and none of them really seem to suit the personality this personality profile you've been building of Belle in your head. It seems like she's craving some sort of excitement, whereas none of these are any of the first-hand accounts from early on. Most of them are, the kind of thing that you'd expect a scholar to be studying, but it doesn't match up with the energy that you got from her earlier.
Very interesting. I'm assuming that I actually looked at them, not just the titles.
Yeah, but no, as you're going through them, there's nothing surprising on the inside of the books either.
Cool.
You do notice that the book that she had closed when you came up to the table is not present.
Duly noted. I'm going to write next to her and Secrets Known, hiding a book.
Bella, how do you react to, because you would recognize that you've seen her earlier. I imagine that anytime you see another woman, you kind of do a quick check to make sure you look more fashionable than they do. And so you knew that was her table.
I also, when I see another woman, check to see if she's pretty.
I would say that
she's not well put together. You think that she could be conventionally attractive, but if she put more time into her appearance, but you got the experience. Like, it's kind of like, oh, shame.
Mm-hmm. If she cared about herself more. Mm-hmm.
She really is a funny girl, that Belle.
Hey, watch that copyright issue.
You could get a suit again.
So yeah, Clytus comes back, shares the information, including the hunch that perhaps there's a special book that she has on our horse bear, and that suggests let's head out to the mayor.
I would just like to ask the innkeeper one quick question. I don't imagine that you fellas happened to ask her how long she's been in town and how long these attacks have been going on, have you?
I would say your imagination is pretty accurate.
You're not imagining it, that's what he's saying.
She's been staking out for 5 days.
Okay, I will go and check with the barkeep about those two things, how long she's been in town and how long the attacks have been going on.
Go ahead and give me a charm roll. Add 1 for your beguiling smile.
Yeah, I approach him and I'm like, hi, I'm so sorry about those two over there. I think that we got off on the wrong foot. I just wanted to come over and extend my apologies and thank you for your generous hospitality. And since we're going to be here for a while, I was just wondering, did you happen to have any information about that young woman who's here and how long she's been here and how long these attacks have been going on? And I rolled 2 4s.
Well, she's been here for quite a while. It's been several months. She originally came just looking for information about the horse bear. She had quite a long conversation with me about it. She seemed absolutely fascinated with the legend. She spent quite a bit of time in the library. As for when the attack started, I would say she had been here for at least a month before those really, before we really noticed that there was a problem. I mean, every once in a while, of course, we get, the odd coyote or other beastie that gives us some trouble, but nothing like, what the mayor assumes to be this wolf that's been just wreaking havoc and killing, cattle after cattle.
Interesting. So it was only after she arrived. Can you tell me if there have been any other new faces or anything unusual going on in the town around the time that the attack started?
Well, before the attack started, there were quite a number of faces. We get the occasional scholarly conference, but ever since the attack started, there haven't been quite as many new faces. In fact, it's been rather empty in the town besides the normal fare since those attacks started. So quite a few new faces that showed up around the same time that she did. In fact, I think she might have arrived with one of the academic conventions and then stayed past it. I don't quite remember, but ever since that those really started, we haven't seen anybody new.
I imagine that's pretty hard on business then.
It's definitely not ideal, but with a family that's been established in a town like this for as long as we have, we get by.
Of course. Folks out in these parts of town usually do. Alright, well, we'll be looking into this whole horse bear situation, and I have no doubts that we'll be able to resolve this, hopefully in short order.
Well, the sooner we can get some people back into the bar, that's the better for me.
Well, you have at least 3 new patrons.
Paying ones at that. I love somebody who pays the tab ahead of time.
Thank you very much for your help, and thank you again for your hospitality.
You're quite welcome.
Okay, and I will bring that information over to the boys.
Beladora, are you having trouble shaking their instinct for spreading rumors after our last job here?
Darling, it's what I'm best at.
I suppose that's true. Shall we head to the mayor?
Sounds like a good idea to me. That said, it does seem a little suspicious that after she showed up all interested in the horse fair, that's when these attacks started.
That is a very good point.
Well, I suppose we'll find out.
She just wanted more than this provincial life, that's all.
I was trying to work that in. Damn it, Trevor.
Just couldn't stop yourself.
Oh,
If you
man.
can't beat them, join them.
Fair enough.
Where are you looking for the mayor?
All right, so we head to the mayor.
The notable buildings in town are the Pewter Arm Inn, the library, and the general store.
General store it is.
Generale store.
Okay, yeah, you walk in and there are a couple of people standing, one person at the counter. There seems to be what looks like a farmer based on their garb, sitting there talking with what is obviously the owner of the shop, and then a woman who's dressed just a little bit. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The man behind the counter and then two farmers in front of it, and the man behind the counter is dressed up a little bit nicer than everybody else.
Clytus goes and hovers behind the farmers.
Give me a physique roll.
I got 5s and a nudge.
You are standing behind them, and you actually snuck up so well that neither them nor the man behind the counter has noticed you yet.
Oh gosh, it'll be like that painting with the two farmers, except Clytus is right behind it.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna Clytus is just gonna listen if they haven't noticed him.
Well, it happened again just a couple of nights ago, and I've never seen a wolf do this. Are you sure it can't be the horse bear? All right, now listen here. I've been mayor of this town quite a long time. I know that there's a lot of concern going around. We've never lost this many cows before, but I've already sent word to Lindell. I'm sure it won't be long at all before we get somebody in who will take care of this. And then everything...
And Clytus immediately pounces on that opportunity. Predatory smile, and that help has arrived.
And yeah, all three of them kind of jump. And one of the guys actually has to catch himself on the counter without stumbling backwards over his own feet.
I apologize. My manners are atrocious. My name's Clytus Logan, and I'm here with my associates.
We're probably a little bit further back, letting you do your thing.
Yeah, we're just standing there shaking our heads.
It looks behind him, just kind of vaguely gestures in the direction. Miss Beladora Wilde and Mr. Finnigan Bomon.
Boy, I didn't expect to speak of the
devil.
Kolos, and he shall appear. Welcome, I am Mayor Mal Hammond, and this is my town. I have to imagine from that dramatic entrance, you are the help that I have requested?
That is correct. And he tips his hat.
Have you been able to acquaint yourself with much of the town?
We've been to the Pewter Arm Inn.
Just a little bit, yes.
So I imagine you might have heard at least a little bit of what's going on.
Oh, yeah, something about a man-bear-pig or...
I don't think there was a pig mentioned.
Horse bear, that's what it is.
Now, you definitely fit the bill of what I asked for, but you look like you'd be more at home at the docks.
Mr. Bowman will surprise you with his capabilities.
I think that there's a large wolf that has been fighting around and killing some of our livestock, but I just need someone experienced in woodscraft and a good roughsman to get out there, track this beastie, and end the troubles so we can bring some more livelihood back to the town.
Has anyone actually seen the attacks?
Well, Miss Belle Saray, she's been staying at the Pewter Arm Inn. She's made it her pet project to try and find this thing, and she, a couple nights ago, happened to say that she had witnessed an attack, and she knew precisely which ranch had been, so we have no reason to doubt that account. But she's the only one who's actually seen it so far.
And we have managed to become acquainted with Ms. Saray.
Oh well, that's excellent then. I'm this is not. I'm an administrator. I own the general store and I run the town. I'm in no way capable of handling this sort of thing, which is why I sent out to Elendel.
So, this beast, you want it dead or you want it captured?
As long as the problem is dealt with, I leave that up to your discretion.
So let's talk a little bit about payment. I mean, that's what we're here for.
I am rather interested in the answer to that question myself.
Well, everything can be described from the note that I sent out. The pay, it stays the same as long as the problem gets dealt with. Blow it up, shoot it, drown it, stab it, turn it into a fur coat, I don't care.
I am in need of a new coat.
Well, anything else we should know, Mr. Hammond?
I can point you to the ranch where the latest attack happened. I don't believe they've managed to clean up the mess yet. It's something that they don't look forward to doing. It's not pretty. So I can point you in that direction, but that's about the extent of the help that I can give you.
Do you know who was hit first?
I think it was the ranch on the northernmost part of town.
Have the farms had any kind of casualties?
Most of them have lost a couple of animals apiece.
Has there been any kind of pattern to the attacks? Have any been attacked more than once?
I'm not sure that there necessarily has been anything like that. A lot of them have been more conservative with how often they let the cattle out of the barns, and well, it's hard to keep track of. I've gotten so many reports, and the Treasury has paid out so much for these lost cattle to these families. I think most everything's been hit more than once.
Has there been any other attacks besides just the farms themselves?
I've had one or two reports of attacks on a barn door, but it doesn't seem that the creature has been able to get inside. It just some claw marks on the door itself or on some of the walls.
Thank you very much for your time, sir.
Much obliged. And Clytus tips his hat.
I'll pass along word that the town will be paying your bill at the inn for as long as you need to stay here. Is one perk that I can throw in for you.
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
Ooh, can I get my resource spent back then?
Yeah. Bella as well.
Nice.
And I think that's a good place for us to call it for the night. We will be back in 2 weeks with the next episode in the Hamlet of Hammond. And until then, don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, like us on Instagram. Don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. And most importantly, don't forget to tell a friend who loves Brandon Sanderson. We'd love if you were able to get the word out there. That's the biggest way and easiest way for us to grow as a podcast and for us to get our content out to more people. So more than likely, if you as a Brandon Sanderson fan like the podcast, your friends are going to like it as well. So why not give them the gift of good listening? But in the meantime, we hope you enjoyed, and we will see you soon.
Bye.
Mistborn and all related properties are owned by Brandon Sanderson and Dragonsteel Entertainment.
Bye.
The Mistborn adventure game, the Alloy of Law supplement, and the Masks of the Past supplement are owned by Crafty Games. Special thanks to Steve Argyle for letting us use his artwork for the logo, and to Boardroom Design for putting the logo together for us. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, and YouTube at LLOS Podcast, or join our Discord community. We hope that you'll give us a 5-star review on iTunes or whatever podcast provider you use. And make sure you tell a friend who loves Brandon Sanderson. Thanks for listening. Tune in next time.
Did I lose everybody?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello? I think I've lost people.
Did I just drop?
Hello?
Testing.
Hello?
1, 2, 3.
John, I see you're transmitting, and Zach, I see you're transmitting, but I can't hear anything.
I can't hear anyone now.
Uh-oh.